sometime by tomorrow. So
Okay.
you can go back and take a look and take any notes or rewatch any parts that you wanted to. And then obviously, if any questions come up, you can just message me. So, okay, what got you interested in coaching?
So I think I put this on the forum, but I climbed to Diamond recently,
Nice.
and it kind of just feels the same as Plat. Like it's a little bit harder, but it's not that much different. So I feel like I could get to Masters without too much problems.
Sure. Okay, sounds good. I assume that's why you're here.
Right.
Okay, sounds good. So, how long you been playing the game? I see. I've done some roast coaching for you or something a long time ago. That
Yeah, I played it on and off like season 5 Overwatch 1 like a long time ago.
yeah.
And then I just started playing Overwatch 2 when it came out. Took a couple months off and then started playing again a couple months ago.
Okay, so it sounds good. Is he DPS mostly?
No, I play tank.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'm looking at the wrong form here. I'm an idiot. Okay. Diva, Sigma, Junker, Queen. Okay, so why those characters?
They're fun. I don't know.
I hear you.
I think like in like some of your videos, the term like skill expression has popped up, which I think is kind of to do with it.
Sure.
I think I play like Baptiste too, and like Kiriko and a little bit of Sombra, and I think they're like I find joy that they're like kind of hard characters. There's a lot of like depth and nuance to them.
Yeah. There's something satisfying about knowing that there's always a little bit more to learn, and that whenever you find success with it, it's not because it was just I abused so and so character.
Right.
Like I was able to do something like actually pretty special. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. Okay, and they're also just fun to play. Like I think Diva, Sigma, Queen, very unique. Okay, so why tank though? Why is tank? Is that something that you've always played even back in Overwatch 1, or is that more of a recent adjustment?
Nope, just Overwatch 2.
Okay, so why the adjustment there?
I actually don't really know. I feel like I've always just kind of gravitated towards the like the crappy role, but still like the impactful. Like I don't care if I just die, whatever. Like I just care about getting the win.
Right. Okay. Makes sense. Let's keep going here then. So play about 20 hours a week. This is my main game right now. Okay, sounds good. I'm gonna come back to that one in a second though. So goals. Short term, I'd like to start pugging and possibly join a team and have a more consistent experience. Long term, I don't know. Medium term, that's great. I think Masters tank would be cool. I was hard set gold plat for most of the time playing this game, and now that I'm a diamond, I realize that players aren't as good as I once thought. So Masters should definitely be achievable. Yeah, it's weird. It's like I used to always have like this thing when I was a kid. There's something that popped in my brain when I was like 7 years old, where I was like, how slow could you open a door before somebody realized that it was actually like opening? You kind of see what I'm saying? Like, how slowly will the door, like you never notice it, and then all of a sudden 30, 45 minutes later, you're like, wait, that door was closed. Now it's halfway open, right? It's the same thing I think with SR. It's like sometimes the progress is so minute, and all of a sudden you blink one day, you're like, whoa, I'm diamond. It still feels like plat, like you were saying. Like I think for you is it's like trying to find out like how achievable is that next goal, because it is a step up. It is a noticeable step up, but it's about like breaking it down to those tiny little details that slowly add up. So, okay. So you're diamond now, you're playing tank, you're playing around 20 hours a week. How is that time spent? Because we got to kind of know your training schedule currently right now if we want to talk about Masters.
Yeah, it's mostly just ranked, to be honest. Don't really do much. I do some like arcade too, but it's mostly just ranked.
Okay. Makes sense. And then in terms of warm-up, do you warm up or do you just jump right into ranked?
I usually just play like some support games in ranked just to warm up, because I don't really care about my support rank that much.
Okay, makes sense. Here's what I would recommend trying, see if it works for you. I would try warming up. This is going to sound cruel, but with deathmatch with tank.
Mm-hmm.
Because the HP is nerfed, right? Everyone's going to hate you anyway, but your HP is nerfed. And I just think like, especially with the tanks that you're playing, like think about like how hard it is to track Diva when you're diving somebody, right? At that point blank range. Think about how difficult it is to land Gracie and Junker Queen. How difficult it is to land consistent rocks with Sigma. I mean, even if you went like no shield Sigma, if you're feeling particularly nice, right? But you were like, I'm really tracking my primary, find my rock. I just think that's going to be better for your mechanics. And I also think it's going to be more efficient training time-wise, because if you think about how long do you want to spend warming up, I would say for most people, 10 to 20 minutes. That's going to be a lot faster than playing 1 or 2 ranked games in on support, if that makes any sense. I would try that. See how that goes. If you enjoy that, stick with it. If you don't enjoy it, maybe we can reevaluate. But that would be what I would recommend. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Like I said, give it a shot. If you don't enjoy it, I mean, you don't have to do what's perfect. Just do finding the balance between what's fun and what's productive. I think that's the challenge for a video game. Okay, and then do you take breaks between games?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes if there's like a fight that we lost, I didn't know how we lost, I'll like go watch the replay.
Sure. Okay. I would recommend doing that maybe a little bit more often, even just to get up from the computer, move around. I find like you're playing what I would say is like the sweet spot for most players that want to get better at the game. It's about 2 or 3 hours a day. That's really, really good quantity-wise. Right? Like get good ranked practice. You're being efficient with your time. But what you could do to really min-max that efficiency is just take a few breaks, just so that you're a little bit more focused, a little bit less distracted when you get back into end game. Avoid like Q, and even checking out like a replay code. While that's productive, it does take energy, just as much energy almost as playing the game. So what you could do is you could kind of refresh yourself, get up from the computer, do some dishes, check the mail, 2 minutes, right? And then go back, requeue, and then go back in full intensity. That's something I would recommend. Just tiny little breaks. Make sense?
Yeah.
Try that, even if it's just every couple of games. See how that feels. Okay. And then obviously going into every game with some goals to practice, which is obviously why we're here. And then what do you feel is holding you back from improving? I really struggle against mobile heroes or compositions. Genji's jumping around, soldiers flanking, Kiriko's an aggressive angle. I never know where I should be or where I should be controlling. That's a really good question. Especially, I've noticed this because Sigma, I used to play a lot of Sigma in Overwatch 1. And that character sometimes feels awful versus those mobile comps, right? Like if you stand really still, I can shoot you. But as soon as you start to move, it's hard to shoot you, and it feels like it's a lot harder to tank. And I think that's even more so in Overwatch 2, being the solo tank, right? How do you control a Genji Kiriko as Sigma? Very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. And then as a tank, it can sometimes feel difficult about like even Diva, right? When do you peel for a Genji diving your backline versus when do you like dive the enemy backline, right? Like how do you manage that? We'll look at that. Do you have any codes from today that maybe kind of show that? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Because I was going to say that might be.
Yeah, I'll send it right now.
Perfect.
This is really good. This is like exactly the kind of game I'm looking for.
Perfect. Okay, keeping going down. Losing confidence after a couple of bad fights or bad games. It happens. That taking short breaks can help with that. And then remember, like this is one of the things I bring up in every session that I do. It's not important always to be confident. It's just important to not be distracted. So if you go into a game and you feel like you played really poorly, but you did what you were supposed to do, which is I was supposed to practice my shield management on Sigma. That was my goal for that game. If you did that successfully, even if you went 2-8 and got full held on, flashpoint in your spawn while they were capping the third point, whatever, it's still a good, productive game. It's not a successful game in terms of, we won the game, but it's productive in terms of the long-term success of actually improving your specific character skills, right? And so for you, it's like work at shifting your confidence away from a success-oriented thing, because even if you're really good at the game, top 500, right? You're still going to be like a 55% win rate. You're still going to lose almost half of your games, right? So it never really goes away. So you either have to be able to shift your confidence away from like metrics like win rate and statistics, and you have to try to shift them away from that and focus your attention on like, what was I doing well in the game? Was I doing what I needed to get done? But that's hard to do. That's really difficult to do. We're always hardwired to just, dopamine on the victory. But obviously that's never a guarantee.
Even if you play well. Happen.
Even if you play well, right? Even if you play well. Okay. Last thing here, finding a rule or framework I can use in game to simplify thought processes. I climbed from plat to diamond in 2 days by simplifying my thought process to take favorable 1v1s, don't take unfavorable 1v1s. I previously understood the macro and theory of what I was supposed to do, but this having a simple rule, okay, Sounds good. We'll aim for that one then. 7 hours of sleep per night on average could always be better. I think my final offer is usually around 17 or 18 hours per day. If you're not spending every waking moment sound asleep, then you're no, I'm just messing. But yeah, 7 hours isn't bad. Could always be better though. I just think it gives you that much more energy, that much, a little bit more of your focus, not just in the game, but also outside. But I won't mother you anymore. Okay. Any questions?
I have one question about like the mental.
Please.
So I feel like a big weakness of mine is I'll get like I won't usually get tilted over things, but I'll get really tilted once I start like losing to things that I think are like low skill or like gimmicky or cheesy.
Yeah.
And then once that happens a couple times, I'll just like completely check out. I was like, this game is dumb. Like, why should I bother? You know?
I know what you're talking about. Like if they go full Tor Bastion Orisa kind of foolishness, and you're like,
Zarya. Like, I hate that comp so much.
Yeah. This is the okay. This is the what I would say is the what's the term for this? The irony of what is the term when two things contradict each other? I can't remember what it is when it feels like it shouldn't. Two things contradict each other. There's a term for it. It's going to drive me crazy. Not a paradox. Paradox. Thank goodness. My brain is not working. Okay. This is the paradox of the counter comp mindset. So you're playing Diva, yeah? Mm-hmm. Everyone's like, counter Diva with things that she can't matrix, right? But the paradox of that is while that might make this game very difficult and frustrating for you, first off, it's no guarantee that they win the game whatsoever. It may not even increase their chances of winning because they might not be very good at those characters. But the people that pursue that mindset generally struggle to actually rank up. Because the problem is that they will only be successful in the games where they not only make the right read of what to pick, but they actually execute it well. And I've noticed a lot of times where people will think, so-and-so counters so-and-so, and they're not even necessarily correct in that. And the even worse thing is like how many of those guys are actually good at Symmetra? How many of them are actually good at Zarya? And that's another whole can of worms that they have to solve out. So here's the deal. You have to, I'm trying to think of it like this. So I feel it's really corny saying this, but I think this has been helpful. Treat them like the peasants that they are. Okay. They're the plebeians, you're the patricians or whatever. They're the morons, look at these guys. They're so focused on counter comping that they're not going to even play the characters that they're good at. And they're more focused on making my game bad than making their game good. Do you think they're having fun playing Symmetra? They probably don't even want to play Symmetra. And then you scoff and then you like kind of fluff your wrist at them and you be gone. And, and you kind of laugh. You change your laugh from like, ha 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 to, and you kind of lift your pinky when you're drinking some water. That's kind of where you're at, right?
They thought they could be me.
You're right. And so what you do is even if you lose the game, you're like, well, congratulations. I hope you enjoyed the win. Right? Because I got my practice and you got nothing. Pathetic. Like seriously, you have to get like this complex of like, because it's true. It's like, it really is true. It's like when you like, I wonder if this is one of those games. Okay, no, they go the dive comp, right? But like, let's say they go like full counter comp, like they're the ones screwing themselves over. Even if they win in the short term, there is I would not say a 1-to-1, but there's a unbelievable correlation with people that focus on counter comping and have these wide hero pools and being stuck in ranks and not improving. There's just something about a hero pool that lets you actually improve and like learning the ins and outs of the character. So here's the thing. Is it going to make things a little bit frustrating for you? Yes, absolutely. But also keep in mind that they're really gimping themselves more than they're gimping you. They're taking the shortcut to winning one game, but they're actively sabotaging themselves by taking that decision. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And not only sabotaging the rank, right? Because there's ways you could cheese rank for sure, but they're sabotaging their own enjoyment of the game. The other day, I was playing a quick play game. I was trying to get some footage for a video I was making, so I was just playing some Winston and Dorado, and you know exactly what happened as soon as we won first fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here comes the Reaper. Here's the Torb, And, I know how to play around those things, right? And I don't mind, adjusting my play style and maybe having a little bit less fun, but, just win the game, playing properly. Especially because it's going to be on a video, right? I can't make mistakes. So anyway, long story short, they counter comped. They must have swapped to like 3 different DPS. They went Reaper, they went Bastion, that didn't work. So they go Torb, then they went May. They still were losing, and then they just left the game after like 7 or 8 fights. And I'm like, how miserable are you? You know what I'm saying? Like just play what you want, man. Play what. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I can't resist it. Sometimes I gotta type and they'll all chat. Just play what you want, dude. Stop trying. And it's like, just seriously, like, and I think like they're screwing themselves over. They're screwing themselves over.
Yeah.
So I guess just remember that, play to enjoy, and focus on what ways can I adjust around it too. I know that was kind of like a long rabbit trail, but it's such an important part of Overwatch 2, I feel like, because it's just, people do it so much, and it's just pathetic. It really is pathetic. It's effective sometimes, but it's a little bit sad, is what it is. Okay.
I do have another replay about counters that I just like to look at this one mainly, and then maybe like at the end.
Sure.
Quickly skim over the other one.
Sure. Works for me. Let's take a look. So, Diva, what are you good at? This is a big can of worms, right?
Yeah. I'm good at testing high ground, testing off angles, killing people that are out of position, and sometimes peeling.
Yep, exactly. Like you look at this composition and you're like, oh my gosh, this is like the opposite ends of the spectrum. And it's actually quite good. For the enemy composition is actually quite decent, because if you think about it from your perspective, what's your priority here? Is it a peel? Is it a dive? Is it a 1v1 a tracer or a ball? Or is it a dive the on his end? It's rough, isn't it? And I think this is where like you could absolutely deadlift this game, or you could feel totally lost. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a lot of questions. It's going to be a little bit complicated at times, but I really want to keep in mind what you were saying, where I really do well with just simple rules. And so what we'll do is we'll try to tighten things up, tighten up the ship as we go through, and come away with something really basic and actionable. Any questions come up during this, just let me know.
Okay.
So this is a great example of prioritization. Because you're like, oh, I'm going to force this tracer up. And what do? Well, you use your boosters and you force the tracer. Does she recall? Yeah, she recalls. But you see the problem here.
Taking 1 million damage.
Right. Why? Where is that backline?
Because I'm not looking at where I'm getting shot from.
Right. The backline is actually rotated through. Check this out. Bam! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Discord, you're dead. Or you should be dead. You might not be dead. You're not dead. Okay. Lucky you. So what's the play here? What's the mistake that you made here? How simple can you state this mistake?
I guess don't chase Tracer, because she just blinks away, or she just recalls, and now I give up the space that I had.
But you see how that rule could be potentially wrong. Like, let me shift your perspective a little bit. If this is a Moira Lucio backline, you got me?
Yeah.
What would you do? Would chasing Tracer be bad?
No, but it'd be better to go after Moira Lucio.
Would they? What if they're all the way over here? What if you see the Onazin don't actually rotate until you've already committed, right? They were over here.
Mm-hmm.
So it might have been very difficult to commit on the Moira Lucio. It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe just stay high ground.
Who's easier to kill? Moira, Lucio, or Zenyatta?
Zenyatta.
So when you leave a Zenyatta uncontested, he's going to hurt you a lot more than a Moira will, or a Lucio will, correct?
Right.
Something to keep in mind. Put that in the back pocket, and we'll come back to that one later. When you ignore Zen, not when you don't dive Zen, but when you ignore him. Like, let's say the Zenyatta's in spawn, right? You know he's there, you're just not really worried about it. But when you ignore Zen when he's lethal, he will punish you. Same thing as a Widowmaker, same thing as a Hanzo, that was a Bastion, same result, right? Same result.
Right.
But at the same time, when you do give him respect, it's very difficult for him. You see that?
Mm-hmm. He has to back up.
He has to back up on his attention. Genji's focused. Now, if you were to dive on Tracer right now, would you die? Let's say before this Tracer dies. Let's say you die from here to peel off. Would you die?
Yes.
Why?
Because there's nothing stopping the Zen and Ana from just peeking.
Okay. But what if you finished your dive in this room?
I think that's what I actually do. But it's still kind of scary because I'm like 1 HP.
But you understand the principle.
Right.
So your whole idea is that I'm either contesting backline hard or I'm avoiding them entirely. Right? So when you peel, you kind of need to see how much damage I'm going to get shot while I'm peeling. What's more important to peel? The Ana Zen, make sure that they stay in the choke, or peel off the Genji Tracer because they've overextended, right? It depends. Like right now, that Zenyatta's walking forward. So here, this is good. But this works. Why? Because can the Zen shoot you?
No.
No, he can't. So not only can he not shoot you, he can't even heal the Genji. Now the Genji's out.
I think this point in general, like I just don't know where to stand.
It's very difficult. I think you're doing a relatively decent job if it makes you feel any better. I think you're doing okay. It's mostly just find cover. There's cover here, this is okay. If my team is here, this is okay. Your team is here, it's okay. And then as soon as you back out here, now this is funny because this feels terrible, right? It does, it feels bad. But watch very carefully. Who is shooting at you right now?
Pretty much everyone.
Everybody, right? Can your team shoot who's shooting at you right now?
Yes.
Yes. So in theory, it's not the worst thing in the world. I just wish you were at a higher health to start. Now, where's the Zenyatta? You know where he is, right?
He's in main.
Right. So then where should you go? Can you get to main from here?
Probably up the stairs.
Up the stairs? What if you run into Genji up the stairs like you did last time? Can you take the duel here?
Yeah.
Why?
Because that's a good 1v1 for me.
And can the Ana and Zenyatta help him easily?
Oh, they can't? No.
No. Okay. Light him up. Honestly, full Matrix and missiles this guy, you know? Nice. Mechanical misplay. It happens. But even just forcing her out would have been fine, right? Too far. Drop. Yep. What's the mistake here? It's tricky, isn't it? Now, it ends up working out because their ball overextends a little bit. But really, where's your team set up to fight?
Further back.
So where should your cover be at this point? Where do you want to hold?
Maybe like under the high ground, like by the little trees.
Yep. That's it. You got it. And see what you could do is if Zen peeks here, are you close enough to beat him out?
Yes.
Oh, yes. And not only that, but you could force him out, Matrix, back to cover, and see what's going on. No LOS. You got me?
Mm-hmm.
See,
yeah, I never thought of it like that.
This is very dangerous right now because you're peeling a Genji, right? I understand, but you know who's peeking right now. You know who's peeking right now. Who's speaking?
The Zen.
Mm-hmm. And sure enough, there it is. Now, could you kill a Genji? Maybe. Might be able to. But you see what happens the second he comes out? You are instantly dead. Now, you might have looked at this and been like, this fight is lost, whatever. I think maybe so too. However, even in that circumstance here, I kind of want you to stuff this choke here because you know what? You could maybe force trance. You could maybe force nano. Maybe you could get a trade or a kill on these guys and bomb to remech and recontest. You see? It's a Genji blade. It's not very easy for you to peel off a Genji blade. right? So where's the value more? Controlling the follow-up to the Genji blade or controlling the Genji blade itself? Which one is better for your kit?
Follow-up.
Right. What if you were a Zarya? You got me?
Yeah, then I could bubble teammates and I could kill the Genji easier.
Sure, absolutely. What about a Queen? Trickier, right? Shout could be useful, right? Shout could be useful. But you understand what I'm saying now? Or even Sigma, right? I might shield the backline and try and rock the Genji. Do you understand, right? That's kind of like what you're looking at here. It's tricky, but you always need to ask yourself, do I get more value out of controlling the people who are going in aggressively, or do I get more value out of controlling a squishy? You talk about taking a favorable 1v1. That's kind of what we're doing here. But the tricky part with Diva and what makes her so hard is it's not just about the value of the 1v1, but also about the value of your peel. Because if that's a pulse bomb, or if that is a bastion flanking your backline, you may not be able to kill that target very quickly, but you can completely shut it down. Whereas a blade, very difficult for you to change that. Now, why is what you're doing right now okay?
I'm controlling the high ground.
Where's the backline?
They're safe behind me.
Okay, where's the enemy backline?
Probably on cart.
And they peek you or the Genji system? No. So do you need to go control the backline?
Nope.
Nope. Shoot the Genji. Shoot the ball. You see how easy this feels?
Yeah.
But you know that Ana's going to have to do something at some point. You know at some point they're going to come up. And are you going to be ready for it? Yep. Get him out. There it is. You see that? That was good. Mm-hmm. See, even here, you don't necessarily need to go for the backline just yet. Now, you see it, right?
He's being a little silly right now.
And he has to, though. I mean, look at this from his perspective. Look how frustrating this feels. Y'all having fun up there? Hello? Right? That's kind of what's happening here. And so now, he dies. Now, it's funny because you're about to make a very, very smart decision. But I want to see if you could tell me why this is smart. Why are you peeling off the tracer when there's a ball and Ana right in front of you?
Well, it's harder for me to kill like both a ball and Ana, and they're not really doing anything.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it right there. Because the thing is if this Ana was like right here, you would never, ever go for Tracer, right? You would just kill the Ana. Because if you didn't, what would that Ana do to your team? That's the scary part, right? So you just kill the Ana. But like you said, they're too far away, and they're not really doing anything. Whereas this guy, she's doing something. She might kill my Cassidy. And I can also isolate her without the Ana peeking me, right? Because that was the problem earlier when you went for the Tracer. You went for the Tracer and let the backline kill you. But now this backline isn't doing anything, so screw off. Go kill the Tracer. But then you're like, okay, now there's no Tracer. Now the ball's in. So now your next flow, right? Go for the ball. But what do you have to be careful about? If I turn my camera around, what might I see?
The entire enemy team following up.
And there it is. So your focus is on peeling here. But even if you were thinking about peeling, where would you peel?
On the cart.
On the cart, right there. The Ana, the Genji, the Tracer. That's your pressure right there. Why? Why would you prioritize these guys over these guys? What's the difference?
I mean, there's 3 of them, and I can matrix all 3 of them.
Exactly. Are you closer to the ball than you are to the rest of the squishies?
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. It's the same distance, right? And which one do you think it might be? Maybe not an easier 1v1, but one that you could at least scare more? The ball or the Ana, Genji, Tracer. Right. So this is something to consider. So I appreciate you choosing the ball here. I think it's not a bad decision. You might be able to kill him. But I'm also scared of the fact that you didn't know how close that Ana was. And I think it's the same mistake that you made here. You went and peeled the Tracer. There's nothing wrong with peeling a Tracer. But there is something wrong with peeling a Tracer when her entire backline is walking out at the choke at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I want you to make a sense of prioritization of like, is their backline like actually taking space? Are there squishies that are actually doing something? Because if you turn your back on them, you will die to them. And the funny thing here is like, I'm not even sure that I would use boosters here. I don't think you realize how close you are to these guys. Just drop, walk, and shoot. Drop, walk, and shoot. And that way you can save boosters to get out if you need to. I don't think it's bad that you used it, but yeah. Don't peek, don't peek, don't peek. Good. 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 Do you see how you kind of like checkmate? Okay, checkmate. Okay, go back, checkmate. And guess what? Somebody dies. That was good. Now, what do you think about what you're doing? Is this smart? Is this bad? Is this good?
I think it's good.
Why?
And then...
Why? What's the difference between this and what you did in first point that almost got you killed immediately?
Because Tracer's alone. I can't get shot by her backline.
And how aggressive is that backline playing?
Not at all.
What if this backline was right here? Should you go for this play?
I could. I should probably just like go deeper into the room so they can't shoot me.
Sure. But at that point in time, would you not just go for the backline instead?
Yeah, maybe.
You see what I'm saying? So this is a good play. I like this. I mean, obviously, unfortunate you get stuck, but you know what? I'll take it. I'd rather you get stuck than somebody else. Uh-oh. Do you see what happened while you got stuck? Watch. Look at this guy. You see this? This is crazy.
He walks forward.
This is crazy. You know? To be honest with you, this is where I would just look at the Zen, shoot the Zen, and just bomb the remake, to be honest. There you go. Good. Look how close this one is. Nice. See how easy that was? And now, just whoever's closest. Or just play your life, right? Good. Good, 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 good. You know, one of the things about Diva is it's like when you're not playing versus like a Winston or something fat and juicy to hit, what are your damage numbers like right now, right? Probably not super high. But do you see how your impact has been like pretty solid? Pretty solid. Doing a good job.
Yeah, I'm not killing people all the time.
Exactly.
So I don't really know how good I'm doing.
Right. Now, who should you be shooting right now? Okay, not maybe right now, but... right? Why not backline?
Because he's alone.
He's
alone. They can't see me.
And how aggressively is that backline playing?
Not very.
Not very, right? I love this, like, we just back into the wall. It's like a chalkboard, you know? Wait, there you go. Oh, no, crud. That removes the overlay. But yeah, exactly. So just light him up. And then now, look at this Cassidy. I might drop on him and try, and like, are you going to kill him immediately? Maybe not, you know? Because they might lamp, they might nade, you might roll out, but that's exactly what you want. Or maybe you're just that good. Maybe he does die immediately.
The goat. I don't know what to tell you.
I guess so. Now, this is funny. You know, you look at this here. Let's say you had perfect scouting. What would you fly for here? I know you don't, but let's just pretend that you do. What would you fly for?
Probably for the BAP.
I think so too. I think you go for the BAP because you're like, I can't Matrix the Blade. I don't think I can kill it in time. The BAP's just going to heal him anyway. I think I'm going to try and kill this BAP. Make sure he doesn't shoot my Cassidy. I'm with you. And then now, well, that's Genji because he's low. Nice! Oh boy, they're making things complicated now. Now, you need to be very aware of something that I don't think you're aware of. Ready? Do you see how you feel like you're being a punching bag and nothing's happening? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm doing my job, right?
We were down to like right away.
You're down 3, I think. Or maybe your guy went back. Yeah, your guy, I think, just fell off of high ground. Yeah, so you're down 2, basically down 3. So you're like, what the heck, man? Like, what? Like, how are these guys just like dunking on me? Well, this is why. Nice bomb. At least you bought time to remech. Yes. 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 Get out. Get out. Get out. Rat. Good. 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 But you see how that was almost fatal, right? Didn't recognize that. Could have been really messy. Huge play. Huge play. I don't know what she was doing. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what she saw.
I don't know either.
I guess he was pretty low, but still, this is really stupid. That was huge. That was huge. Now you need to move, right? Do you know what this? Do you know what this is? Here's what this is. This is the Tracer first fight all over again. Do you see it?
Yep.
You're shooting somebody that probably deserves a little bit of attention, but you're doing so directly in front of the enemy team. The thing with tank is it's like you really don't ever want 5 people shooting at you unless you're like able to matrix all of them at the same time. You just don't. You really, if you were going to shoot Doomfist, I would shoot Doomfist like this. I would rather Ana and Baptiste shoot nothing than then shoot me. I think it's just a misconception that like a lot of like even Ryan and Sigma players have, where it's like, oh, I'm shielding off the enemy damage. You let the wall do that for you, right? You choose your battles. If I don't have to shoot, if I don't have to deal with them shooting me, I'm not gonna let them shoot anything. So like right now, you're gonna lose a lot of HP or you're gonna lose a lot of matrix. And there you go, right? This is a disaster. This is a mess. Why? Because you didn't respect silence. If you're gonna be on these targets, you need to be shooting them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. That was a weird interaction. Nade into deflect into matrix. Perfect. Just like we drew it up. Now, I'm noticing again here that you're not giving any attention to Doomfist. What do you think? Smart? Stupid?
Where is he? Can you like look around a little bit?
Over here.
Oh, he's like way, yeah.
We're letting you cheat here with perfect scouting, right? So what do you think?
Well, it's tough because he's too deep, but like, I don't want to give up the high ground.
Is he too deep? What does too deep mean? Remember the Tracer that again, I want to keep bringing up that first fight. Tracer went in too deep into your backline. But what was her backline doing at the same time?
Walking forward.
Walking forward. So really the question is this Doomfist really too deep?
Not because his Ana's right there, so I guess not really.
You know, and look at the bat. I mean, heck, look at the Ashe too, right? They are actually walking forward with this guy. So you have a really important decision to make right here. What do you think?
I think shooting BAP is probably the best play.
I think so too. I think if you knew that Ashe was there, you would go for the Ashe instead. But I agree. I think if you peel off Doomfist, I think you die to Baptiste. I think you die to Ana. I think you die to Ashe. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there it is, right? Now you turn your attention to Doomfist. Why?
Because now his backline's out.
Because now his backline's out. And who forced the backline out? You did.
I did.
You did. Brilliant. But now they're back in. Be careful about this, because while you're not terrible at killing this guy, again, the question is what's happening behind me? And you got me?
Mm-hmm.
And even here, right? I mean, this is absurd. Look at this. Look at this. They are going all the way in.
There's a lot going on right now.
So so this is part of the reason maybe why you feel a little bit overwhelmed. I understand flashing a Matrix at Genji or peeling off a Tracer. But if there is a backline that you can shoot, it is a much better use of your attention to deal with this Baptiste, to deal with this Ana and the Ana nade and the BAP window that's planted in the middle of the high ground than for you to chase a Genji that's going to run away from you, right? So let's rephrase your rule. Remember how you climb from plat to diamond with like the whole like 1v1 rule?
Right.
You know what? Let's use the same rule. How good are you at killing Genji in a 1v1?
Decent.
Decent. How good are you at killing a Zenyatta in a 1v1?
Much, much better.
Much better. And really the same thing goes for Baptiste as well. Just based off the nature that the guy doesn't flip and jump around near as much as Genji does. He jumps around a little bit, but not as much as a Genji, right? You notice how long and hard it's taken for you to even get this Genji to low and then just grabs the mega health back, right?
Right.
What could you have done instead to that Baptiste with the same amount of time?
I mean, he'd probably have to use shift, use lamp.
Yeah. Definitely more cooldowns. Probably a lot lower. Probably forced anti-nade and sleep dart onto yourself. Probably, but you see what I'm saying, correct? And
Right,
you can
yeah.
actually, and the thing with Genji is there's always a chance that you force, maybe you don't even kill him because he just runs away. That's the tricky thing. So the thing with Diva is that you can position yourself really well to matrix dives. But you always need to ask yourself, am I giving up favorable 1v1s to do so that will either kill me or kill my team? So when you're talking about peeling dives, look to see if the supports are overextended and then control them instead. And the only time that you should only really ever hard focus enemy flankers is if the backline, if they are overextended, if the flankers are overextended. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if that
So
tracer,
it's
that
kind of
Genji,
like
go ahead.
so it's kind of like more about the backline and where they are.
Right. Well, you should always check the backline because you got to ask yourself, like, if this is a Moira Lucio, what's easier to kill, a Genji or a Moira or a Lucio?
Moira Lucio.
Are you sure? I mean,
Sometimes.
but put it this way: if you went into an arcade deathmatch and you saw a Lucio wall, you've seen those Lucios in Chateau Guillard, right?
Yeah.
How hard is that to kill that guy?
It's pretty hard.
It's ridiculous. Like, is it easier to kill a Genji?
Maybe, maybe not.
Right. But you see, now it's really tricky. Now you're not so sure. So now that might be a situation where you focus more on peeling, right? Because the backline is not quite as killable. Now, here's another question. What if the Ana and Batiste, right? Over here. Can you deal with that?
No, not really.
Not at all. Really? Not really at all. And you don't need to because they're not doing anything. So now you are the peeler. So I guess when it comes to whether you should peel or not, your idea is that I'm going to peel whatever is most threatening to my team right now. And whatever is most threatening to my team is whatever's playing aggressive. And if everybody's playing aggressively at the same time, like we see in our screen right now, I'm going to pick the 1v1 target that's the best. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's why it could feel so easy to 1v1 a Winston, because you can't matrix a Winston, but why does it feel so easy to 1v1 a Winston or peel a Winston?
The hitbox is gigantic.
Right. So it's not just, I'm peeling, I'm helping my team. It's also, damage. Right? Right? It feels amazing. It's the same thing like Widow, right? You're great at quote unquote peeling off a Widow or diving a Widow because she just dies in an instant. But a Genji, Tracer, you could peel them well with Matrix, but you can't kill them easily. You can't kill them easily at all. Same thing with Sombra, right? Sombra is really, really, really good at matrixing. You could really good at forcing her Transcater, but it's hard to kill her. So that's kind of the decision you have to make here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So who's playing aggressively? What's the favorable 1v1? This is great. I mean, look at that. Instant lamp, and this guy still might die. Well, maybe. I probably would have stayed for Mega, but I understand. Just a little bit of mechanical misplay here. Who should you shoot right now?
Genji.
Genji, why?
He's pretty low. And I
And?
can kill him way faster than Doomfist.
Correct. Is there anything else you could be doing besides shoot Genji right now?
Nope.
Nope. There is
super,
nothing
super
else.
deep.
There's nothing else. There's no backline. There's nothing. It's just Genji. Kill the Genji. And shockingly, he dies. Funny how that works, right? Good. All right. You're doing it. Look at it. Why aren't you looking at the Doomfist? Peel the Doomfist, man. What's wrong with that? Why would you not want to peel the Doomfist here?
Because backline's right here.
And backlines, what's more lethal to your team right now?
Probably backline that's not
Probably backline.
Getting any attention.
Right, probably backline. Because this backline isn't far away. They're right here. This is terrifying. This Ashe has a sightline. This Batiste has a soldier gun. You need to deal with these guys. Now you got to be really careful. You see what just happened?
Yeah.
So
now they're out.
You're making the wrong read here. Now you should be doing what?
Get on Doomfist.
Get on Doomfist. Peel the Doomfist. Because is this backline a threat to you anymore?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Not anymore. And not only is it not a threat, how easy is it going to be able to kill this Ashe now?
Pretty hard.
Pretty hard, right? Because she's just so far away. So just let her go. Does this all make sense to you?
He's C9s.
I know. I saw that was brilliant. Okay. So I'm trying to flowchart it a little bit more as we go through. Because I think the idea with peeling is that you want to focus your favorable 1v1s as Diva. But if you don't have any favorable 1v1s, the nice thing about Diva is you can provide value just by matrixing people if no favorable 1v1s are there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If there's no favorable 1v1, you peel. But you expect that favorable 1v1 to come in play. Fine? You were thinking about diving top, yeah?
I don't remember.
All right, fair enough.
Now I am.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. What you should do right now?
Shoot Diva.
Let's actually put a different name on it. You want to peel, right?
Right.
I want to use that terminology now because why? Why should you peel back, right? Like you peel back a skin. That's where the name came from. You peel back a banana skin or whatever, right? Why are you peeling back here?
Because backline is not doing anything.
Right. Backline is totally worthless. Go deal with them. And can you kill an Echo or Diva easily? Yeah, kind of, not really. But you could matrix them very easily. And there you go.
Maybe.
Maybe. Oh, you have a tough decision right here. What do you think right now?
My gut says shoot Diva still. Because this is like a 4v1.
Where's the Sebastian? Where's the Sebastian?
Up top. No, he's inside.
But you see how his angle isn't amazing?
Right.
Right? So I actually think... See, this is the problem with saying, oh, focus Bastion as Diva. Maybe. Maybe not. You see, I look at this here, and I'm like, yeah, I agree. I think you shoot Diva here. I think you shoot Matrix Diva. Brilliant. And now? Bastion. Why?
Because he's the biggest threat.
I mean, look at how his position is adjusted. Do you see where he was? Where was he? Stairs, yeah?
Yeah.
Now look at him. Now how much of a threat is he?
Super close.
Super close, so super easy to kill, and super dangerous. Hook him. Now I
Wait, how'd my Mercy die? What?
no comment. But I think you did your job. Good. Nice fight. Nice fight. That was a good one. Ah, Reaper. Surely that will solve the problems that they have.
Surely.
See, Reaper's a great example of what we were talking about, though. Like, where Diva is always the trickiest tank, I think, when it comes to, like, the whole taking favorable 1v1s thing. Because remember, like, your value cannot come just through 1v1. It can also come through denying them from 1v1ing, right? Because, like, really, how easy is a Reaper 1v1 for you?
It's not the best.
It's really not good, right? It's hard. It's winnable, but it's hard. So, but at the same time, how good are you at denying him from doing what he wants to do?
Really good.
Really good. So what you do is, I think Diva, the way I look at Diva is you just add like an extra little asterisk to characters that you can't 1v1, but can peel really well. Like Tracer. I don't like Tracer as a Diva, but I can peel her really well. So if I gave her a scale on a 1 to 10 of how good of a 1v1 character she is, normally I would say like a 3, right? But because I can peel her really well, she's actually a 4 in terms of priority. Sombra. How good am I at 1v1ing and killing a Sombra? Like a 4. It's not consistent, right? She's just going to translocate out. However, how good are you at denying Sombra value?
Pretty good.
Really good. I mean, you can cancel hack, you can matrix her shots, you can force her out, you have the mobility. So I would say she goes from a 4 to like a 6 or even a 7 on the priority list. Why? Because you're so good at denying her value. Bastion, how good? Now this is the funny one. How good are you at actually 1v1ing and consistently killing a Bastion?
It kind of varies.
Decent, but not amazing. It's good, but it's not as good as like a Widowmaker or a Zen, right? But why does it feel so good with Bastion?
Because I just matrix everything.
Right, because not only do you have a pretty good 1v1 versus him, but you also totally shut down everything that he has to bring to the table. So he might be like a 6 or a 7 in the 1v1 scale, but because you're so good at shutting down his value, he becomes like a 9 or even a 10 priority. And then Widowmaker, Widowmaker is just the best. So, but you kind of see what I'm saying, right? So I think instead of overcomplicating it, what I would do is I would just add a priority little bonus to characters that you maybe don't 1v1 very well, but you matrix really well. That's why sometimes you might prioritize shooting a Tracer or peeling a Tracer instead of shooting a Winston. Winston's going to die a lot faster, but the Tracer, you deny her value more. So depending on the circumstance, you might actually prioritize peeling a Tracer than shooting a Winston. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It depends, but yeah. Okay. That's
short answer, it depends.
It depends. It always depends, right? So you want to like work at your skill set of reading the situation. But what does it depend on? What does it depend on? What are we looking for when we're making these decisions?
Where the enemy's positioned.
More important than anything else. Yes. More important than anything else is their positioning. Because the more aggressively they're positioned, the more likely they're to hurt our team. And the more likely they're to die. It's a high risk, high reward. So if I look at the situation right now, I'm like, yo, Reaper, love it. Echo, love it. I can really deal with her, right? But she's in response, so she's worthless. So if you look at the situation right now, where is your brain kind of tuned in most? Who's the most important person on your screen right now?
Probably Ilari.
Yeah, exactly. Because she's the one that's playing the most aggressively. And you're fairly decent at dealing with her, right? Now, if this was a Zarya,
maybe not. Maybe go high ground.
Right. Maybe I'm just ignoring her. Maybe instead of even looking at her, I'm thinking, is there anybody out there, you know? Because I don't give a rip about a Reinhardt. I can't do anything versus, or excuse me, a Reinhardt. What am I saying? Zarya. But see, like all this damage you're taking. Okay, there you go. Little late. Little messy. Full matrix, back out first. I think you could have greeted a little bit more of that matrix. Look how much matrix you had. Right here, you know, that's a lot of matrix you could have used before you had to fly out. Just something to keep in mind. Do you hear what I hear?
Nope.
Listen right here.
Is Reaper on my right?
Who's your priority right now?
It's Reaper.
It's Reaper. Yep, it's Reaper. He's overextended, right? I mean, this is going to happen all the time in ranked. Everybody overextends every single fight. So here, you're like, get him out, get him out, get him out. And there it is. Oh, he messed up. He messed up. He canceled Wraith. So you see how you're like, okay, I can't kill that, but I did my job.
Yeah.
Now what's next? Because you're like, oh, he doesn't have Wraith, but I couldn't kill him. You know what? Because he doesn't have Wraith, he can't really push in for the next 3 seconds. So this is fine. Good. Uh-oh. You see it, right? Look at her. Look at her. She is way too close. Right? So maybe this time, are you thinking about peeling Reaper or Diva right now?
Nope.
I'm thinking about
looking pretty tasty.
She's looking pretty tasty because the Reaper, I could deny his value, right? So, but I can't kill him. So he's like a 6 in the priority scale. But an Ana is like a 7, and the Ana is positioned just as close as the Reaper. So, oh my goodness gracious, let's get her. I might even go, like if my team is here, I might even look for a dive here. Maybe not a hard commit, but I could go for a dive. Oh, that's unfortunate. You missed it. Good job. Good job. I like that. That was good. I mean, she got too aggressive, right? She got too aggressive. This is going to be a nice little remac. Woohoo, nice. Deal with her. She's dead. Nice. Nice job. Very good job. Get him. Get him. Nice.
Interesting.
Interesting. Now, moment of truth. What should you do here?
Probably shoot Reaper.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters. I think you could shoot anybody you want. I think, yeah, Reaper's fine. Yeah, you could also go for Iliari if you want. I really don't think you need to peel back on Diva, though, right? Why?
Because the backline's right here.
They're right there, right? They're right there. So even if you can't kill these guys, make sure that they can't help the Diva, right? Make sure that, and by turning your back to them, now look at this Reaper, right? Bam, 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 bam. Right? I mean, look at how much damage he farmed off of you. Look at your poor HP, right? You just lost over 300 HP by turning your back to a backline. It's the same thing. It's that first fight, and that Tracer. Control them. Trust your team to deal with a threat if the other threats are also playing aggressively. You can't deal with everything at the same time. That's the problem with Diva. You have to choose. You have to choose, and you chose wrong. You chose wrong. Your team doesn't care about a Diva, right? It's just a Diva. You need to make sure that these guys can't help. So great job on the Matrix and the Death Blossom. But this is still losable because you made why are you going for the Reaper now? Why?
Because he's overextended.
Way overextended, and he's killable, right? Because he doesn't have his right. So bam. Oh no! Oh, you did kill him. Okay, I was like, there's no way this guy gets away with it. Okay, let's keep going. But I think it's a little bit hindsighty, but I think you're gonna look back at that fight. Do you win this map?
Nope.
Nope.
We don't.
That's why. That's why right there. You see it, right? That's why.
Yeah.
You misprioritize based off of who was playing more aggressively. It's not that you're going for the most favorable 1v1 logic was wrong. It was perfect. It's great, right? It sounds familiar. However, your ability to 1v1 somebody depends on how aggressively they're playing. And that's, in essence, what peeling is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You sound a little bit unsure.
Well, it's just like new information.
Okay.
So it's kind of like I'm kind of thinking of it as like focusing more on the backline as the threat and not as the actual like DPS as the threat.
It depends on how aggressively the backline is playing. So
yeah,
in this,
usually I would just like ignore backline.
Sure.
If they're not diveable.
Sure. In this review, it's been mostly backline because backline has been positioning very, very aggressively. But you see, even backline isn't really a good description of it because what was backline here in the fight that we just watched?
They were aggressive.
But who were the characters, I guess, is the question.
Oh, it was Reaper and...
Right. Does Reaper strike you somebody being backline? No, but he happened to be there. He was... So I don't think it's just backline. I think it's a read of whoever these squishies are that are going aggressively. Who are these squishies that are going aggressively? Who's going aggressive? I deal with that. That's your job. Who's going aggressive? I deal with that. And factor into the play, how good am I 1v1ing at those targets? And how good am I denying their value? Great. Why are you peeling Tracer?
The rest of her team's not being aggressive.
Exactly. So get rid of the Tracer. Okay, Tracer's out. Now what's next? Now you have a bit of a tough choice.
I remember this. I didn't know what to do here.
But do you see why that's understandable? Because look at the Diva. Look at the Yari. Look at the Tracer. It's tough. It's tough. Now, what do you think if you had perfect scouting? What would be the perfect play?
My gut says shoot Diva.
Okay.
Because Tracer's far away and she can just blink out. So my gut is saying shoot Diva.
Who's engaged aggressively right now?
Diva and Tracer.
So maybe, or make sure this Diva can't play the game. I think either one. Let's see. Check it out. Very good. Oh, nice. Here's the Diva copy. Good. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
We got 4 Divas, boys.
Nice. Again, like, are you gonna kill the Illari with that? No, but you're gonna deny her value. It's almost as good. Yeah, to be honest, they had ults. You guys didn't have as effective ults. GG's. Let's watch one more. You got time for one more fight?
Yeah.
And no, we didn't have time for the other VOD review, but I have something to offer for that. Second. All right, let's see. 1v1s, 1v1 capability, / how aggressive are they playing? Get her out. Don't take spam damage. Drop. Too far away. Wait, now you got healed. Oh, now she's isolated. Now, stop. What should you do?
Tracer.
I think so. Now she's out. Now what? Now the
Echo.
only potential problem with going for the Tracer here is who also is playing aggressive at the same time.
I like the Ilaria.
You see this?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because you're thinking, oh, Echo's not playing aggressively. But how does an Echo play aggressively? Does she necessarily dive into the middle of your team all the time?
No, it just
not.
takes a good angle.
She just shoots, right? Like if an Ashe was positioned here, she'd shoot you too. So if you're going to go for the Tracer, make sure that the Echo can't spam you. Make sure the Ashe can't spam you. Keep in mind. Go for her. Especially with this bomb. Yeah. Nice. Nice. Now Echo's low. Nice. 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 Now Diva. Oh, no, I have a bad feeling about this. I have a really, really bad feeling about this because I'm like, oh, you win this. Okay, something bad is about to happen here. Oh, man. Okay, that's it. So, Diva, on that note, what needs to be practiced? And I'm going to let you give me the terminology that you want to use for this. Simple rules.
Mm-hmm. How about kill backline if they're aggressive?
Take favorable 1v1s. Don't take unfavorable 1v1s, right? But positioning. How do you want to phrase this? But you kind of see what I'm saying. I'm trying to think, like, what would be the best way to phrase this? Because how aggressive somebody is positioned makes them more favorable of a 1v1. Yes?
Yeah.
But aggro equals more favorable. Less aggro equals less favorable? What do you think? How does that look?
More or less. Yeah, sounds good.
Always keep in mind backline positioning so you can know when they go macro. When should you peel?
Should peel when the backline isn't aggressive. Or if there's not a favorable 1v1.
Excellent. How does this look?
Looks good.
Tricky. It's what I would call simple, not easy. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Simple, not easy. Simple rules, but understanding how to apply them in game is going to take a lot of practice. So here's what I was going to offer.